Onstage, Onstage with Jim and Tom. 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 Tom and Jim.
Sharkmouth is a band that describes themselves as three dudes who've been in a bunch of bands and are in a bunch of bands playing original music as an electric trio. And tonight, we are very happy to welcome those three dudes to the stage at the Phoenix Theater for this edition of On Stage with Jim and Tom.
Absolutely.
Please welcome to the program Joshua James Jackson, Kalei Yamanoha, and Linden Reed, the three dudes of Sharkmouth.
Thanks for having us.
These are three individuals that are involved in all sorts of different projects. Some of the music they write themselves, some of the music they support their friends in. These are three who, for whom music is a very central thing.
Yes.
In regards to the musical project, and this is me quoting you guys, these are songs of intimate betrayal, anxious devastation, psychedelic hedonism, desperation, and degeneration.
Accurate.
There's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like you've emerged from that time in your life? Because you are the songwriter of these songs, correct?
Yeah. Yes, I am.
Okay.
And I have. Yeah. This the source material for the EP that we have out. We did it. We performed a couple songs tonight.
Yeah.
That aren't on it and
Yeah, I
have different
noticed.
source material.
Some
But
new stuff. It sounded good.
totally. Thanks,
Yeah.
man. But that old stuff is all from like a 2-year period for me that was really indulgent and shitty.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm definitely past that. I'm much happier now.
Indulgent because it was sort of misery loves company indulgent, like you felt bad and you just relished the bad feelings, or indulgent because maybe you were living in excess in some ways, or maybe a combination of the both.
A combination of the both, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think living in excess and being really hedonistic and open to opportunity and weirdness led me to lead like living in the sort of hedonism that sucks, you know? And then it was like, pull out of that.
And this is for the entire table, can hedonism ever not suck, though? I feel like it's always a road to destruction.
I think if you're really empathetic and intentional with your hedonism and you're careful about your health over time, so like, if you're going to go really hard and have a really weird time, you make sure you're in a safe space, you make sure you're not going to hurt anybody, you have the time to do it, that it can be cathartic and useful.
Oh, yes.
I'm just a fan of committing to things, and I found that balance doesn't really exist in my life. So it's like if you're really going to commit to hedonism, I feel like that's the road to destruction.
Yeah, that's a bad idea.
So you're a fan of like committing for a period with the understanding that at some point you're going to get out.
Scheduling some hedonism.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Oh,
But to
man.
me, that's not pure. That's not pure hedonism.
That's a strong part of Western civilization. For crying out, you look at Greece and you look at Rome and you look at the French courts
and
royalty.
ended.
What? Right, but it put us where we are now. It brought us to where we are now, weirdly in its own way. The United States itself. Are you kidding me? We are having one of the most hedonistic political moments in the history of this country right now.
And many people say that we are an empire in decline.
Yeah.
Not to get too political.
Hey,
but I mean,
everything's got to fall sometime, right?
Rome declined 5 or 6 times before it really disappeared.
Anyway, I'm glad that you've come out of it.
Yeah,
and you were just engaging.
Thanks.
You just wrote psychedelic hedonism, but I'm sure there was all sorts of other hedonism as well.
And he got a lot of great material out of it. I mean, without that period, now that you're a happy guy, are you writing as much as you wrote on the tail end of a sad and tough experience?
I'm like really, really happy right now. So I am writing a lot because it's like, it is still extreme emotion, but like in between when I was like pretty happy, not a lot coming out of me.
Okay, so you write when you're on your highs and your lows.
Yeah, exactly.
You get a lot of great, or a lot of material out of the lowness, and anybody can jump in here. Did you learn any life lessons? I mean, because you survived.
Oh,
It didn't kill you.
No, I didn't die.
It probably felt like it was going to at certain points.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I learned a lot about how much to protect yourself. Like I had been like a very open and like bare person, very much like heart on your sleeve, like why be private about anything or why keep anything to yourself. And I learned why.
Yeah.
So I think I learned a lot about how to interact with people and in the world and sort of like being an adult human and taking care of yourself. So I forget what the question was.
Oh, just basically, you go through an experience that felt like at the time it could kill you.
Yeah.
And if there was anything to impart to the young listeners out there who are going to be experiencing those times,
right?
Because perspective is something that comes from it.
I think as long as you keep your intentions like good and stay on your hustle, like if you are a person who like knows what you want and knows what it is that you want to do with your life, make sure that you're putting work into that. Or if you have a creative outlet, make sure that you're putting work into that. And I think that eventually things get pretty cool. Or at least, I got lucky, but probably things get pretty cool for everybody eventually.
So you guys, do you all play music for money?
Yeah.
All three of you get paid in some way, shape, or form. Maybe you're not completely making all your money from music, but you do. You would like to do that, right?
No, I've been doing it for 4 years.
For 4 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been doing it for almost 2 now.
And occasionally, you probably make some, but also support
Yeah, Linden,
yourself
you're
in
going
other
out on
ways.
the road here this week, it sounds
Yeah,
like.
I try to make.
It's tough. It's
Yeah.
very, very tough.
Yeah, it's hard.
It is.
Just like a freelancing photographer or a freelancing video guy or a girl. It's to make money with your art is extremely, extremely difficult.
Yeah.
I just came back from a long tour that was mostly in the American South.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I learned is that out there is a culture and infrastructure that supports music, at least, and maybe more of the arts, but at least music as like a career. I met a lot of people who owned houses, who were raising families, and just played an instrument and played in bands and did basically the same hustle that that the three of us do.
Were they playing original bands or were they playing mostly copy? What were they doing?
Yeah, there's a lot of work out there that is like the covers work and stuff. But I was fortunate enough to meet a lot of people who were doing the same kind of folk Americana. I was on the road with Frankie Boots, so it was like bands analogous to that, where it's a singer-songwriter and people backing them up.
So down in the South, were you guys getting paid enough to make the journey worthwhile?
Oh yeah, January is usually like one of the leanest months of the year, especially around here and for anyone in the entertainment
I had to save up
industry.
4 months just for January.
Right, and that's a thing that we all know. So like that was one of the impetuses for us leaving for the whole month.
And why, if you had to summarize in a sentence or two, why is that? Why is January so slim?
Because everybody parties their face off from Halloween to New Year's, and so there's a bunch of work then, and then after that everybody's tired. Nobody wants to pay for entertainment.
And just for context, Frankie Boots is a Sonoma County-based band, which is kind of gaining traction and getting more and more popular outside the area.
Yeah.
You went on a tour that, how far out did it go?
We went all the way to Key West,
Okay.
And we were on the road for 35 days. We did 30 shows in 35 days,
Wow.
and it was just Frank and I. It was like a duo trip. I was playing upright bass, and he was playing acoustic guitar.
Cool.
And so I think there are places in the world where this isn't even a conversation that you have to have. It's not, and I think that the West Coast is unique in its lack of support for the arts because like we don't have the infrastructure to tour, for one thing. There's like 4 major cities on the West Coast, and each of them are like 8 hours apart, which doesn't compute very well for trying to tour. And you can fill in with smaller markets and stuff, but there's less money in smaller markets and less people.
Yeah.
The
And
same distance, or like the same time it would take you to drive from LA to San Francisco, you can go across 3 to 5 states on the East Coast.
Yeah.
right.
True.
So like all over the East Coast, you drive an hour, you drive 2 hours, and you're in a different huge market. So people do that out there. So like the people who are hiring you are like, oh, you do this for a living. I understand that. I will pay you fairly because I have met people in my life who do this for a living, and I understand that that's a thing. Whereas out here, a lot of people, you almost have to have a job. Kalei and I are lucky that like we don't make any money any other way, and Linden makes a big chunk of his money playing too, and we're super lucky for that. But there's like the attitude around here is that that's not how it works, and that's not what you're gonna do. So like, and that hurts the pay structure coming from everything, because people are assuming that you're doing something else so they can pay you less, and there's less money coming in and less people are coming out.
Less people are coming out.
But it's also hard just because it feels like life is built towards that not being a thing. And what I mean is like if you, as you get older, it's like maybe you want to have children. That's going to take you away from it. Or maybe instead of writing a song, you want to watch Netflix on a smaller scale. I guess my question would be, even if you're not feeling inspired, do you try to push through it, or are you kind of the mindset that it's going to pass when it's going to pass?
I like to try and push through it personally. Like when I'm having like writer's block or whatever, I like to go out and street perform because it's a way for me to like just play by myself and be in a weird environment out with people and cars everywhere, and like I can kind of like play a song or like improvise on something, and like whatever's going on around me influences what I'm doing and makes it fresh, I guess.
I find myself just being so busy that like whenever I feel like I have time to be creative in my own right, it's like, oh, yes, so like there's just such like a backlog, because like I play a lot in a lot of bands, so there's just a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of, I got to make sure I know the tunes and like I'm rehearsed up, and I got to go to these rehearsals and do all this stuff. So I guess, I don't know, I don't have time to feel my writer's block when I have it, I guess.
But you had to put yourself in a position to get there.
Yeah, so this is very intentional. I definitely keep myself this busy, because if I'm not this busy, I will stagnate.
Yeah. Do you have any words for someone who is a young Joshua James Jackson, who maybe doesn't quite have the hustle that the current Joshua James Jackson has?
Yeah, I'd say it's important to say yes a lot to gigs and playing music with people, even if it's you're not sure it's what you want to be doing, or you're not sure if you want to do it, because eventually you'll be more sure what it is that you want to do. And the more people that you've played with and the more people you know, the more people you'll play with and the more people you'll know. Yeah. And
it's true.
It is. It's a
networking gig.
Yeah. So just, make friends and play, and don't let people tell you, young me, don't let people tell you that you shouldn't be doing what you're doing, because if you think you should be doing what you're doing, you should, because you don't have enough time to listen to other people's bullshit.
Yeah.
Because to the earlier point, it does kind of feel like when you don't have that conviction, which it sounds like you have that conviction, but when you didn't have that conviction, it can kind of feel like the world is wired against this life.
Yeah. You can find yourself in and out of the JC for a long time, thinking maybe you'll go back and get a business degree.
It's true. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially when it gets the darkest.
Yeah.
When it gets the darkest, or the vision becomes the least clear, is when you start reverting back to plans like that, which in your heart of hearts you probably don't want to do.
Yeah.
But you're basically being told by everybody else that that's what you want to do.
Right.
Yeah.
If your backup plan doesn't sound that cool and you don't want to do it, just don't. You don't need a backup plan. I mean, you're probably not going to die, I mean, just focusing on your art probably won't kill you. You can be hungry for a long time. There's food to find. Food stamps are out there, There's just do your thing.
Do you feel like your dedication to your craft got in the way of you being able to share love with another human being?
Yeah. I think that's I think that's an issue that I've struggled with my whole life, because I think I came online as like being interested in love and lust and sexuality and stuff at the same time that I found music, So I think like from day one, that's been a struggle for me.
It feels like it's difficult to find the balance, doesn't it?
Yeah, because you just want to do both things all the time, like if you're in love, you don't want to do anything but be with the person you're in love with. And if you play music, you don't want to do anything but play music all the time. So
and then if you do one or the other, you're feeling like there's an incongruity.
Right. Yeah. It's that's one thing to try to find balance.
Could you give me some advice on that? How'd you figure your way out of that one? Or have you yet? Is it still a work in progress?
I think stopping working helped a lot for me, because like working jobs and playing music is like, for me at least, that took everything, like, because I was working with kids, and that takes a lot of energy and a lot of like character, and playing music is kind of the same, so you're on all the time. So trying to find space to love during that time of my life was very difficult, because when I wasn't working or playing music, I was spent, taking out that extra element of something that like I really don't want to be putting effort into, but am, has given me more space to put effort and love where I want to put it, and also being able to find someone who gets that and who is also a creative person who understands how that process works. You know, like that helps a lot.
Incredibly important.
Yeah, it's incredible because for a lot of people, you know, if they're not really, you know, if something creative isn't a central force in their life, then they don't understand what it is you're doing with your time, and that makes sense to me. You know, it's because how would you know if you didn't know? You know.
Just in the inverse way that you don't understand those things that are important to those people.
Right, exactly.
There are things that are interesting to them that are not creative things.
Yeah, and I don't
those
get
may
that
be
at
very
all.
perplexing to you.
Yeah, I don't, and I'm not trying to. I don't know how to say this.
You're not passing judgment in my opinion.
No. I really don't mean to, because I think everybody should do their own thing and have a good time doing their own thing. But I totally don't understand how you could do anything than what I do and be happy.
To wrap up, does anybody at the table have any advice to give young Josh James Jackson if he's listening tonight? This can be anything that's worked for you in your own life, or based on your knowledge of the child, you just think he could use. So any life lessons we want to give to Josh or anyone like him, feel free to put in. I think it's a nice, conclusive little thing. This has been a great little survival guide for young Josh James Jackson.
Yeah.
So if we could
hope he's listening.
If we
we could spare ourselves a lot of pain if you would just listen to this podcast.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if he would just listen to it, we could save ourselves a lot of intimate to betrayal, anxious devastation, desperation, and degeneration. But anyway, anybody have anything out there for young Josh James Jackson, the idealistic young Josh James Jackson?
Be on time, work hard,
Be on time.
party responsibly. Be a nice person. Not that you're not a nice person. You are one of my favorite people.
Thanks, bud.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sharkmouth, for joining us tonight. Thank you, Tom. And to the listeners out there, including our good friend, young Joshua James Jackson, stick around because you are going to get to listen to your future project, Sharkmouth, who are going to play us a set in just a moment. So thank you so much for joining us, guys.
Stick around and listen. And young Joshua Jackson, just be patient. That beard is going to work.
Till the end of the night, pump the system, I'm ready to play. He didn't quit it, or you and your folks, me and my folks. It's okay if you wanna put up any holiday. Foxy, Loxy, popping whiskey on rocks, dancing like a kick the Loxy for nights. You can hear me so well, but there's no sleeping, it's raising a head. You can put your hands on me. We can try to fall so bare your teeth, shake your mane. If it can't be killed, it can be maimed. like it's dripping on the floor. Tommy pulls and burns a hole. I tried to hide beneath the rug when I heard you coming up. Can't keep myself to my, can't keep myself to my, can't keep myself off the ship. I can't get myself off the ship. Can't keep myself to myself. Can't keep myself to my, can't keep myself off the ship. I can't keep myself off the ship. You want a man with liquid acidation. You want him with the silver spoon. Breakfast in bed and lunch in free to bed. You want dinner on the dark side of the moon. If you would only read my dreams now, woman, you would crawl out of my sky. If that's too much for you, I really must implore you, just get your shit out of my home. Can't keep myself to my, can't keep myself to my, can't keep myself off the ship. I can't keep myself off the ship. I can't keep myself to myself. Can't keep myself to my, can't keep myself off the ship. I can't keep myself off the ship. Can't keep myself to myself. Can't keep myself to my, can't keep myself off the ship. Can't keep myself off the ship. Can't keep myself to myself. Can't keep myself to my, can't keep myself off the ship. I can't keep myself. I know what you want. I don't need to pay. Hell, I don't need to shame. No, I'll tell you what I need. I'll spell it out. Need someone to treat me kind. And all I wanna do is lay down in bed with you tonight. Sometimes it feels like we had more trouble than we had fun. And all the tears I cried just kept you on the run. You understood in hindsight. If only you remembered when I laid in bed with you at night. And I know what I've seen. Things you tried to hide. Like I don't have the right, or will fight. I ask you if it's so, and you ask if you should go. Man, I wish I wasn't right. Cause all I wanna do is lay down in bed with you tonight. Sometimes it feels like we had more trouble than we had fun. And all the tears I cried just kept you on the run. You understood in hindsight. If only you remembered when I laid in bed with you at night. And I know what it costs. All the sleepless nights, all the foolish fights. I guess I'll pack my things and by December I'll be gone. But for 30 days time, you can lay your ass there. I'll be in bed with you at night. nothing wrong, child. Get a little bit absurd. Take it back. We like to swing, so take my hand out and show 'em how we do all things. Down on the West Coast, we like to swing, so take my hand, darling, or take my hand, darling. Take my hand, darling, show 'em how we do all things. There's something soothing about leaving your town, missing everything you won't be around. Your whole life all rolled up in a brown leather bag. That blissful feeling I hope you'll all have. Oh, I've got to go. I could stare at the interstate for hours. I love the view. I'd like to recommend this activity to you. Just get out there and show the world what it is you do. I guarantee that 1 in 5 probably won't hate you. You've got to go. There's nothing left that's keeping you here. Just go. That's keeping you. If you crash and burn, you'll probably survive. I'm still here, so your odds must be alright. Don't let that scare you from seeing all the world around. The Reaper's just a boogeyman that we talk about in town. We've got to go. Go. There's nothing left that's keeping you.